indulgence also of our people that the paper has been able to grow. Today I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our respected governor, Sri P.B. Acharya, his wife, and also our Honorable Chief Minister, T.R. Zilliam, and also our respected veteran leader, Dr. Shirozade. He has taken the trouble to come all the way from Kohima. He said he wanted to be here. We're so glad that you're here. And also, of course, we have so many of you ministers, and also another veteran opposition leader, Ayim Kong. He's always been around, is very mobile. And also a lot of our friends, our colleagues, especially our friends, the senior bureaucrats who are here. And of course, the parliamentary secretaries who are also here have come, taken all the trouble. Because I guess you know who I'm referring to. And of course, let me pick up a few names. Our Home Minister, Mr. Patan, Siel John, Niba Krono, and Amenba, and Maran Tushi, and the Trezor, and of course our good friend there from Nurubuto, and of course Mr. Tokeho, and Kipili, and KL Chishi. You're all here. If I've missed out any names, I hope you will not mind. We are here to enjoy the fruits of those 25 years. When we look back at 25 years, it seemed something like it was in a dream. Because when we started, we were still in our youth, in our 30s, in our mid-30s, at the most potential age of our youth. Today we are 60. Now we are also grandfathers. I'm grandfather rather. It's, so 25 years today, it's a time for Thanksgiving. That's why we have described this as a Thanksgiving to our God. All the things that have happened, because of time, I would not like to go through, but definitely many of you know the struggles, the difficulties, the challenges. And one thing that I have learned is not to hate or despise or dread problems. I've learned to love problems. Because unless you love problems, you will not solve them away. You cannot solve problems. And it was also because of the special protection. Although I feel I'm undeserving, but the grace of God. Who am I? I had no experience. I had nothing. But wanted to start a paper. Why? But let me tell you today, it was not an ambition. I had no ambition. I had no motive. It was a mission. I took up the mission purely because our people needed a paper. It was very strange that we had to depend on newspapers from outside Nagaland to read about us. On many occasions when I regularly write to those papers to give a correct picture, they never used to publish the version that we used to send. Anyway, so that was one of the reasons. And the other was also that Yes, we must also pay tribute to the weeklies that have done a marvelous job. I remember when I was a school student, the first paper that hit Nagaland and created quite a sensation was the Citizen's Voice. I don't know how many of you remember Citizen's Voice. It was um, just like that, but anyway, we were excited. We liked it. So from then on, after several years, we had few weeklies that came, and they also did a very good job, you know. And in their own limited way, limited time, they had created the interest, readership, and we should acknowledge that. I used to also contribute to those weeklies, I remember. Especially, we had to come down to Dimapur during those days to contribute our article, and we had to come 2 weeks ahead because it was a weekly newspaper. We had to give the matter 2 weeks ahead. So we came and used to sit and used to write, and then it used to come out only after 2 weeks. So they have done a good job. We acknowledge that. And so we started this paper without experience, you all know, without the manpower, without even the money. You know, you don't have money, you cannot dream of starting a newspaper. You need a lot of money. So anyway, a sense of mission. And it was a foolhardy, if I may look back, I would say I was crazy trying to do something that I was not prepared for. But I guess crazy people do make things happen. Everything used to be crazy because when we started, there were of course many people who knew about newspapers and they were skeptical. Some say we give him 3 months, some say we give him 6 months at the most. After that, there's no question that he can pull up or pull on. Of course, that is true. How can you run a newspaper with an obsolete, totally outdated technology? It's just like using a hoe to try to plow 1,000 acres of field. But anyway, as I said, by the grace of God, somehow we could make that outdated machine use. Here I would like to just share that there's a friend here who had also been somewhat indirectly involved. He sold us the machine and I was very happy. There was the first and we bought the second one. Mr. Mayang Lima, he ran a press. I don't know whether he used to run a printing press. He flopped it, so I took the machine from him and I made it successful. I'm sure he must be quite jealous by now. So anyway, that printing press we used, exploited it. In fact, the machine was used to, had to function beyond its capacity. Sometimes the machine man is there, sir, I'm very afraid that one day it will just crack, and we had it. So anyway, nothing of those happened. So now, that's just a bit of what the problem we face inside technical. Then of course, you know, the financial constraints were always there. It was a very, very difficult. Sometimes after paying all the, the salaries, me and my wife used to have nothing. So we used to, but we didn't worry, we didn't mind, we didn't bother about it. But at least as long as you pay the salaries of your employees, you have the satisfaction that they have got the salary, they're happy, so that they'll come back, you know. So like that, a lot of difficulties. You also know, those days was a very difficult situation, and a lot of problems used to be there. We face difficult situations from the government, from this, the various forces, and sometimes you had to stand alone. Everybody was terrified and things like that. Anyway, as I said, this was the greatest challenge, but it was because of the grace of God. And I also like to today to mention my wife, how much she has stood by me through thick and thin. And not a demanding woman, always ready to be by your side and to do her job. Sometimes, early days, I used to reach home at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's ready to give me my dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning, sleep, and have to rush with my old ambassador to distribute papers. So that was what I call a mission, a sense of mission. It was not an ambition. I had to give everything. Because I was driven by the sense of mission to bring out this paper. I didn't want any position, I didn't want any recognition, I didn't want anything. The mission to start this paper. And as pioneering venture is very difficult. There are so many things that had to be sorted out. Telecommunication was very poor those days. We had to use STD, was very expensive. Sometimes the lines don't work, and sometimes the teleprinter machine used to get jammed. We had to come back with all blank sheet. We had to somehow, I would say, we have to innovate, even to the extent of taping news in a small tape recorder and trying to figure out what they're saying. Sometimes American accent, we don't know what they're saying. Those days there was the Saddam Hussein and George Bush war, and the American radio, what the accent was, we tried to figure it out. Anyway, as I said, sometimes the indulgence of our readers has really encouraged us. It was an exciting moment. So today we're here. Yes, Nagaland Post also has been focusing on trying to be engaged in various social programs by helping or by partnering with some organizations. Basically, since 2000, we have been involved what we used to call those days career guidance and vocational education for the youth, especially those who are coming from weaker economic backgrounds, and especially the women, the girls, and give them free workshop training and materials. And also we used to also get some people, that those even till today, I guess, this drug de-addiction, alcohol de-addiction, so on and so forth. Of course, we don't want to blow our trumpet on those, but today I want to share that we also feel that we can do a little bit for society, and also to, whenever we are required, we try to be involved, maybe as to be a resource person, because we are not so academic to be so resourceful, but from our practical experience, we try to help out and we try to be involved so that we can also contribute something. So, to be a catalyst for change, that's what we have been trying to work out. And I think